Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Vegetables Matter. This is a craft cast about my fiber life, knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, etc. My name is Chloe, and I'm coming to you from Utah, where it is snowing outside right now. I've decided to film out here in our little tiny house. I don't know why, but for some reason it just felt like this is where I should be. So it's been a little while. I've kind of slowed down on my filming. I used to do it once a month, and now it's been every couple months. But here I am. So Happy New Year. It's January 3rd, 2021. The whole world has been ready to move on from last year, which feels a little bit strange to me. It's like I don't think that this marker means anything particularly, but I also get it for sure. It's been today's actually my last day of 2 weeks off of work, so it's been really nice to have 2 weeks off. I love that I get good time off. My husband and I spent the first week down in Chocolate Canyon camping out, which was really fun. I don't know, can you see in the video there when I'm talking there's actually you can see my breath, but I don't know if you're seeing that on the film. Anyway, so it is a little chilly out, but yeah, I'm bundled up warmly. I feel really good out here. So anyway, we were in Chocolate Canyon camping and filming, and we love that area, and I love camping. I love camping in all of the seasons and just really feeling and experiencing the seasons, the cycles, the planet, being able to survive and thrive in some somewhat extreme conditions. It feels really good to me, and then it's also really nice to come home and appreciate the luxury of a house. It just kind of blows my mind how you can just walk from room to room in this temperature controlled space. And a really big thing is cooking meals and just like not having your fingers freezing cold as you're preparing meals and things like that. So I love getting out, and then that makes me appreciate home that much more as well. So it has been a time of reflection. Let's see, first I'm going to talk about some finished objects that I have since last we spoke. And then I do just kind of want to do a little bit of reviewing the last year and thinking about the coming year, and then I'll share some works in progress. So first up, finished objects. I think last time, although I haven't published the episode yet, but last time I shared some Thrummed mittens that I was working on for my mom. My goal was to get those done by Thanksgiving and give them to her. We were able to gather for Thanksgiving. She came out here, and then we did stay separate. She stayed at my brother's house, and he'd been quarantining ahead of time. And so they were kind of a bubble, and then, we were in our bubble here. And we ended up meeting at a park for Thanksgiving, and it was pretty cold that day as well, so we were all bundled up. It probably was in the high 30s when we picnicked our Thanksgiving, but we had lots of warm food, and it was really delicious and really fun. I'm really glad we got to gather, because we ended up not gathering for anything in December. We just decided to play it safe, and there just wasn't really any good options for how we could gather. So that was sad, and my mom's talked about that was her first Christmas her entire life being solo, and she hopes it's her last as well. So anyway, really ready for the vaccine to be more and more prevalent so that people don't have to be quite as cautious. I think we have a lot of questions for what that's going to mean. Ultimately, I think things might be different than they have been, but hopefully we can be gathering. Anyway, that's to say that we gathered for Thanksgiving. My goal, regardless of if we gathered or not, was to get her mittens done by Thanksgiving. And I did. I was sewing in the ends as we were driving up for the picnic, weaving in the ends, and yeah, got to give them to her on our cold picnicky Thanksgiving, which was really fun because people were bundling up more and more. It kind of started getting colder. And so she was wearing them during that time, and it was really appropriate. So finished mittens, obviously I don't have them because I did give them to her. They turned out really well. She loves them, which is great. Here's at least one picture, maybe two, maybe a couple pictures of her. And the mitts. So they look really good with her coat, which I'm really happy about. I didn't plan that, but she's got a nice black coat, and then yeah, they look really good, and I think she loves them. So yay for that. So then the goal was to get those done by Thanksgiving, and then that would give me another month to work on the cowl. I don't know if I think I talked about it on here, that I had planned for Tiana for the winter solstice gift exchange. So then I had parts of that ready Thanksgiving, and so I was able to cast that on the way back down. And then I finished up the dye baths that needed doing that evening, and I've been working away on it, and I have a finished cowl. So this is it. The pattern is the Running Horses Cowl I'll put it on the screen. And I'm calling this one the Atticus cowl because Tiana's horse's name is Atticus. So just quickly some specs about the yarn and the knitting. All of this yarn comes from Nottawonk, which is a farm up in Cache Valley in Utah, so in northern Utah, north of me even. I'm in northern Utah, but it's like right on the border with Idaho. It's all 3-ply worsted weight. The brown is a natural colored Rommeldale. And then the orange and the blue were white. They are a Cora. I don't know if that's the name of the sheep or if they just call that Corriedale batch that they made Cora. I'm not quite sure. But it very well could be the sheep itself. I think they often do just say this fleece like this fleece like this. So Cora, which I alum mordanted, and then the blue I dyed with the Seneca red stalker husks. So I've done one dye bath with 3 different things in it at separate times. So this was the first, and it turned into this really amazing blue-gray color. I'm calling it a slate blue. It's quite remarkable. I really, really like it. And then after that, I put in some silk oils and got that really vibrant purple. And then after that, I put in some Icelandic Lopi that turned into like a lavender grayish color that's really pretty. Really pleased with all 3 colors. I want to do more dyeing with it. I haven't yet done that. I'm kind of out of dye stuff. So that is with the Seneca red stalker. And then the orange is with Tango Cosmos. So both of these I grew this year in my garden, and they're like my 2 favorite dye plants now. I'm really, really excited about both of them and getting this new range of colors and the blues and purples and the oranges. So yeah, I knitted the ribbing on size 3 needles, the plain stockinette, single color stockinette in size 5, and the color work in size 6. Then I did do this modification where I put a drawstring in it, just because it is a little bit big. It works quite well with my hair and my dreads. It actually fits really perfectly, but Gianna doesn't have dreadlocks, and so it's a little bit big for that. And so I put in this drawstring, which I've now made 2 cowls, and both of them I've modified and put in a drawstring. I guess that's how I like things. I want to be able to cinch it tight and keep the air out. So I did this I-cord, And I was like, oh, I wonder what size needles. And I decided, well, I've used size 3, 5, and 6, so let's use size 4 just to keep it even. So that was my rationale for using 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6 for the needle sizes here. Let's see. I'll put it on. I already have a lot around my neck, but here we go. Yeah, so that works out quite well. That's on that side. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see it on Tiana. Yeah, nice and warm, nice and good. I can really stay warm like this. Ooh, my hands are getting cold. Mitten time, glove time. Anything else to say about this? I guess I will say, you know, I really enjoy knitting color work. I am finding that it is slightly problematic. I don't know, my tension really changes a lot, so I am changing the needle size, but I still just find, you know, that the ribbing has a tendency to flip up just because it's not as thick. And that, yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I maybe have a lot more to learn about how to be more successful with color work. I think this one turned out pretty well. I really consciously was making more of an effort to try to keep things nice and even. Oh, I guess I'll flip it inside out and show the floats. Try not to have it be too tight, but it's challenging. I did do a new technique where, as I was knitting, rather than have the front of the work towards me, I had it flipped around. You might not get that, but just normally how when you're knitting, how the work lays, I just had it flipped around to have these inside floats have a little bit, like instead of being like this and then they can be shorter, it kind of stretches them out like this to encourage them to be a little bit longer. So I tried doing that. I don't know that I felt like it made a difference, because as I'm doing that, the part that I'm working on, it just naturally kind of flips around. So there's kind of this roll. So I don't know that I felt that it really made a difference, but I did try that out. Still definitely going to keep modifying my needle sizes, and I don't know, I think maybe something I want to do, because ribbing does tend to be looser, even though then it can also kind of pull in, which is, you know, obviously a good thing about it. I do think that I might want to be more conscious about having there be fewer stitches in ribbing, and then maybe like increasing a bit. That might just work out better. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts about color work. I am more nervous about it than I used to be. I realize that I have more to learn and more tricks to figure out. So that's that finished object. So those are my 2 finished objects. Now I just want to think about and ponder last year. Hey Brown Berry is a podcaster that I watch, who she's been doing daily videos, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 days in a row. I don't know, she just has such a nice presence and just really reflects well on things, and it's been really nice to listen to her and have that inform some of my thoughts during this time as I finish up some projects that I had for the year and then going forward. So last year, my January episode was all about mittens, and I really wanted to focus on making mittens. So looking back, I managed to make 3 pairs this past year. I think I was hoping that I would make more in a year. Yeah, so I guess in some ways I'm disappointed, but I also feel like maybe, I don't know, what's the point of being disappointed in myself? Maybe I've processed through some of that already and feel pretty okay with it. Yeah, I guess I was, I don't know, I feel like I didn't do as much this past year as I maybe would have wanted to, but then when I look back on it, it's like, well, you know, I did what I could, and part of the reason why it maybe doesn't look like as much, why does it even matter what it looks like? But part of it is, you know, 2 of the pairs of mittens that I made, I spun and dyed and then knitted. And so, you know, that's a whole other thing. So, okay, so I guess let's just talk about some of the things that I made. So last year, the mittens were first Dawood's fingerless gloves that I modeled after this pair that I just found. Just really simple and basic and awesome. And those I finished up at summer solstice. So those ones really took me a long time. Yeah. I think I was a little disappointed in myself from there. So anyway, but that's okay. That's how things worked. So first I made that pair, and then I made the beeswax mitts for myself, which are these. And I've been really loving these and wearing them a lot. I've actually even just been keeping them with my knitting project. Because often, you know, I'll wear something a little bit more when I'm out and about. And I find that these, now that it's really winter, these aren't what I want out and about. I want something a little bit warmer. But these are perfect for crafting in. So I've even just been keeping them there. And so then, you know, I'll be wearing whatever I'm wearing, and then I sit down to do some crafting, and I'll switch into these for crafting. And then when I'm done, I switch out of them and back into something more. So I had designed them so that, you know, I can wrap yarn around my pinky without it interfering at all, and that's worked really well. I love these. They've been a good little pair and will continue to be. And then of course the third pair is the Thrummed mitts. So those happen much more quickly. One thing, just because I was reviewing my mittens last January, I think I definitely would have talked about these, and I think I maybe said that these maybe weren't quite as useful as I would have hoped. I made these a few years ago. This was my first colorwork pattern I ever did, and I said, you know, they're a little bit big and they don't quite work for me. I brought them out again because I just wanted to modify that and say that I wear these all the time now. I've really learned to layer my mitts just like I layer any other thing. I layer my pants, obviously. Most people wear layers here. Right now I have 2 layers around my neck, I have 2 layers on my head, and I've also been learning that I can have 2 layers on my hands. And so these work really well as an outer layer for me. Like so. And then I'm super warm and toasty, and then when I need use of my hands, I like wearing something like this where then I have warmth, but I also have my fingers so that I can pull these off and function but still have warmth. Yeah, so wearing this a lot with all sorts of different things. They're big enough they can really go over all sorts of things, so just wanted to modify that. Okay, I just wanted to review other things that I made this year. I have a few to show, but obviously I don't have everything. So one thing that I worked on back in February last year, I think February, sometime around then, is I made some little washcloths, and they've been hanging out in my long-range planning box to give as stocking stuffers to my family, which we didn't end up gathering, so anyway, that hasn't quite worked out. I was hoping to get a box out to people, but I had something else, and then it didn't come. It got lost in the mail, and anyway, but it finally got delivered. So now I'm working on getting these out to people. I just made 4 of them. So one for my mom, my dad, and my sister. And then I thought, oh, there will probably be someone else participating in the stocking exchange, I guess, with us, but since we didn't gather, it really has just been those. So I think I'm just going to keep the 4th one for myself. So this one's for me. The other ones are all kind of packaged away. So it'll be fun to use this now. I'm not going to do specs on things. Those are already in other episodes. I guess I'll just do the things that I have on hand, and then I'll look through some other things. I did, again, this year make a number of Bluebirds of Happiness. These are the 2 that I've kept for myself. This yarn is made from leftovers from my bandana, under there somewhere, fallen backwards. So this is really special. It's hand spun on a drop spindle. And then this little one too. So these are hanging in my living room around around the window, one on each side of the window. So those are fun to have. And yeah, they're really fun. I imagine that this spring I might be inclined to knit some more of them just because they're a fun little project, a fun thing to be able to give away to friends. Okay, the other thing I have in here is probably my least successful project from last year. It is the birds and ships cowl, which I intended it to be like the hat Dana so that it could be up in my hair. I think this probably would work as a cowl, except it's quite thin. I don't know that I would be that inclined to wear it. And it just doesn't work very well as a hat Dana. It just is baggy and doesn't quite work. I thought for a while that it might still just, I would just wear it, but I just find that I never wear it. So this yarn I think I need to reclaim and do something else with. I really love this yarn. This was really fun to work on. This reminds me of my trip to New Orleans in January before the pandemic hit and we could still travel around. Yeah, but it just isn't quite working, so I think I need to redo it, reclaim it. Let's see, another thing, and it's always hard to know like what to count as last year and not, because things started before, but then anyway, so things that I counted are slippers for my dad, which were mostly in the previous year, but still, slippers for my dad. And then, let's see, can I find it? I'll take this off. I'm wearing my hoarfrost cowl. So this cowl by Maria Mascarella or Ninja Chickens. Yeah, so again, I modified it and did this drawstring. This cowl is fantastic. The color work just makes it so dense and warm. And I mean, you can see I can just kind of bring it up and cinch it down and even add a scarf to it. And it just like blocks out the cold. It's just like this perfect little segue that just cinches warm air in. Can you hear me? It cinches all the warm air in, and this is just, it's so practical and functional. So really, really pleased with the hoarfrost. Let's see, some other things that I managed to do this year are Alonzo's pedicab bag. That was the summer solstice gift exchange. I'm not 100% done with it. It's all done. I just need to put on a button, and then I just want to go up to his pedicab and measure exactly where I want to put the final snaps. So that one's not 100% done, but basically, I really ought to work on that. Yeah, okay, so that's mostly it. I did just want to acknowledge, just because it cannot always feel like a lot, but there was also a lot of spinning and dyeing in there as well. And so, yeah, I didn't categorize that stuff, but that's definitely in there. Speaking of, I'm feeling in a good place with my stash right now. I'm kind of getting rid of some, I mean, I still have some, but I guess I have a couple projects right now where I see myself working through the last little remnants of more store-bought yarn that I don't know the whole story behind, or any of the story behind. And I'm kind of seeing that now the remnants that I'm making are more things that I know more of the story behind. I'm still quite precious with my hand spun. It's hard for me just to like make things with hand spun to give away to people, just because there is so much work involved, and I think people appreciate non-hand spun just as much. Generally, like I feel like most people don't really care or know or realize the difference there. But I'm feeling that even now the leftovers that I have that I feel totally comfortable, even if it's hand dyed or, I know exactly where it comes from. I know the farms, I know the names of the sheep. I know those things, but it's not hand spun. I feel quite willing to make things for people with that stuff, and I'm feeling like I'm getting rid of this other stuff more and kind of bulking it up with that. So I'm enjoying that transition right now and seeing that happen and feeling really good about it. Speaking of, I think that is going to bring us into kind of plans for next year. So I've actually kind of sketched out a Make 9 plan, which I've never done before. Again, this was very much inspired by Hey Brown Berry, who has categories. Like, I definitely don't want to pick out patterns right now and say, oh, I want to do these, because who knows what I'm going to want to do later on. And it's not like I make enough projects in a year to make 9 things that I fully commit to now, and then also I get to like be spontaneous and choose other things. So that has no interest for me. But I realized she was talking about things. I was like, there are things that I plan to do, and so let's make them out in a Make 9 and see what happens. And so now there's actually, I have things in the Make 9, plus I have like 4 things next to it. So technically I have a Make 13 or something, and we'll see. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen here, but I don't know. I don't want to share one of them because it's a little bit secret. One is I definitely want to keep going with mittens. I made 3 this year. I definitely want to keep making for people in my life. That just feels like a really good thing that I want to keep doing. So mittens are definitely on there. Hey Brown Berry also shared with me that she and Denise from Earth Tones Girl are going to be having a mitten knit along from January 15th to, I want to say, the end of February. So I think I do want to get in on that, especially because another thing, which I shared with Hey Brown Berry, with Mars, is that I want to participate in a cowl. So that's one of my categories on the Make 9, is participate in a knit along. I've kind of participated before in that I can be inspired by people and take that on. I don't know that I've ever properly participated and that I've like taken pictures and posted them and done that. Which is another thing that I do want to focus on, and that I've also been pondering about. I want to be taking more pictures of my making. I don't have a good camera for that right now, and I've thought about, I don't know that videoing is what I want to continue doing. It may be, it may not be, but I definitely want more camera pictures of things and being able to do specs, because I've used this as a way to record my making, but I think that I just want the snapshots, and I want, if I continue this video, I want to not always have to be like, I have to document every single thing I'm doing because this is the only place I'm documenting it. I want to be able to just maybe talk about, oh, I'm thinking about this, oh, and this happens to be what I'm working on, rather than, oh, I need to share everything here. So that's something in my mind. I need a better system. I think I need a piece of equipment, like a camera. That would be nice for that. So yeah, that's part of participating in a cowl, and then posting pictures and all of that. I don't have a good system for that right now. So another thing that I plan to do this coming year as well are another summer and winter solstice gift exchange. So that's on my Make 9 under one thing, the gift exchanges. Yeah, that's something I plan to do, and it'll be interesting to see who that's for and what ideas that spark. Definitely want to be doing some mending or reworking some things. I have done some of that this year, and I just want to keep going and working on that stuff. I'd really like to make a sweater. I've been wanting to make a sweater the past couple of years, and I haven't. And this year, I really would like to get a sweater made. And the next thing, actually, I guess I'll wait on the, okay. So another one is I'd like to finish a decor item. So right now I have a number of half-started things, including a butterfly that I started this year, or a spider from a couple of years ago. And I think I've got some other things as well. And I really would like to finish one of those. I tried to this year, and again, it's like I came to the same blocks, and I was just like, oh, I don't know how. So Anyway, I'm not saying I want to finish all of them, but like I'd like to finish one of those unfinished things. That would be nice. Hey, Lupa. Hey, Lupa, you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Yeah, there you are, sweetie. With some smells. Sweetie pup. Sorry, noises. Mwah! Love you. You're wet. A snowy nose. Okay, some other things are possibly, so this isn't on the chart, these are kind of next to, but one thing is possibly I'd like to have a weaving project this year. We'll see. I'd maybe like to finish a work in progress. That could be the blanket that I'm crocheting on, which I've been having a lot of fun with this winter, but now I kind of started a few new things and I don't really have time for it, and that's okay. Possibly make a pair of socks. I already have one on the go at work, and so possibly finish that up. And then another thing that I really do want to do is this Celtic knot headband. Lupa, you just want me to keep petting you? Yeah, this is something I want to do. This was a free pattern on Ravelry, and I already have the yarn all picked out for it and everything, so yeah, I was planning to have this happen really quite soon, but now I have a bunch of other things that have more deadlines, so I don't know if I will or not. But this is the yarn. These are actually the leftovers from this cowl, and then this I've now dyed with Tango Cosmos, and so I thought that could be really fun to have these two come together. My original thought was to have the blue be the outer part and the orange be the knot, but I have a little bit more of this, and so I think I'm gonna be a little bit different, and I tend to gravitate towards blue, but to have the dominant color be this orange and then the blue highlight. So I'm looking forward to working on that. Okay, the other two things that are actually on my Make 9 are things that I am working on right now. So my brother and sister-in-law, so Dawood's brother and wife, are expecting their third child in a week or two, maybe. I mean, yeah, pretty darn soon. And I've thought, it just feels time to make something for all three of their kids. So I'm planning to make them each little booties, and so that is in the works. I'm wanting to get that done really soon so that, it's happening about the time that the baby's born, maybe a little after. This is going to be, I think, for the oldest, who is 4.5. It's giant. I guess maybe I can put in some pictures of the pattern. These are called the princess slippers. And I am using, this is part of my happiness about my stash, I'm using up this yarn. This is some yarn that I bought very early on. I've got another ball of it here. I have no idea what it is. It is Melody, Fojoland Melody, 100% wool. I think I got 10 balls of these, and I've used them a lot. I've done a lot of felting with them, just kind of even experimenting, just kind of knitting swatches and felting them and seeing what happens. And yeah, they've just been different things. And yeah, I think I'm gonna use up most of it for these mittens, and it feels good to use this up. And these are some of my very favorite colors. Oh yeah, I knit my first pair of socks out of these, and I love knitting them. It was so much fun to watch the color changes happen. And you can see there's just purples and greens, and I just think these colors are gorgeous. And these slippers, or these socks, just wore through so quickly. I felt like they got a hole in them in less time than it took me to knit them. So yeah, that was definitely a learning curve, but hopefully this will work out. Yeah, I guess it might wear through pretty quickly for these kiddos too, but oh well. They'll be cute and they'll enjoy them, and it should be fun. it'll be felted, so it'll, definitely be more sturdy than that. So yeah, it's really big right now, and this could easily fit my foot. It'll have these little crowns around it, and yeah, so that's the first one I've been working on. For the baby, the newbie, yesterday I knit up these are called the easiest baby booty. So it's just this tee that then you fold like so to then have a little place for the foot. So this one is finished, and I just need to sew up this other one. It won't take long. This yarn is quite interesting. It's just a little leftover that I have. I don't know that much about it anymore, unfortunately. It's really quite nice stuff. And it's got quite a halo around it, which after I knit these, I was like, wait, I maybe was avoiding a halo because I know babies can stick their feet in their mouth, and then you don't really want those hairs to be there, but I already made them. Maybe I'll make another pair too. These are obviously very quick and easy. So this yarn I got in the Czech Republic when I lived there in high school. I lived there for 3 months when I was in high school. And I knitted myself 2 scarves while I was there, although maybe this one I just had the yarn for and finished it up later. But I had these stripes of this red, and then there's this really nice white. And there must have been another color. I remember there being 3 colors, but I can't quite recall what the third color was. It was this giant thick scarf. It was like so wide and so dense and thick, just garter stitch. A really, really good friend of mine, my best friend for a number of years, she always really loved that scarf, and I ended up not wearing it that much. It was just so thick and big, so I gave it to her. I got to see her, maybe not last year because last year was weird, but maybe the year before, and I did ask her. I was like, oh, do you use that? Is that something you still have? And she does. So I feel really good that it went to the right home, that she appreciates and loves it. Because it was quite the feat of knitting. I mean, it's really this gorgeous materials and stuff. So this is very pretty stuff. Yeah, and it'd be really interesting to get, at the time I didn't know that much. I must have been, 17, and I didn't know that much about wool and, and all of that stuff. And it's like, oh, I'd love to go to that yarn shop again where I got that and just be able to appreciate the differences of what you can find here. Yeah. So those are those. I'll also do some slippers for the middle one. It might be the same style as these, or there's also another pattern I'm looking at. I'm not quite sure yet, but either way, both of them are felted. So I may use this yellow yarn for it that I got at a thrift store. I've got a number of these balls. I might try dyeing it even. Anyway, oh, I just popped that off. Okay, here's another side note. When I was going through the stash trying to find stuff, I also came across this. This is a recent purchase at a thrift store. It's some mohair. I want to say it's 80% mohair, 20% wool. 78% kid mohair, 22% wool. And I just thought, oh, might as well get that. But I haven't really known what to use it for. And I saw this leftovers of stuff, and I thought, oh, holding these together double could be really freaking cute. And so now I also have in my head like making, because there's not a lot of this, but making like a little kid's hat could be pretty fun or something. So anyway, once you start digging, then you start making trillions of plans, but won't be able to get to them all. But anyway, I just thought that was a really nice combo. The last thing on the Make 9 official plan is something I've been wanting to do for a little while. I love Valentine's Day, and I always like to make lots of Valentines. It's been really big in my family. My last name is Valentine. My grandma's maiden name was Valentine, and she made a really big deal of it. It's just been a big family tradition. So I've been wanting to knit or crochet. I've been wanting to do some fiber work Valentines, and this feels like the year for it. So I have some yarn. This is hand spun, hand dyed merino. This was roving that was given to me with my drum carder, and I just, at one point, it looks like I spun it up. It's pretty cute, thick and thin. I really enjoy the texture of this yarn. So I must have spun it first and then I dyed it in madder. And it's got just some really nice variation in the colors. When Twitler was elected, and there were the women's protests, what do we call it? The Women's March. That's what it is, of course. Okay, so when Twitler got elected and there's the Women's March, and pussy hats were being made. One year I made a number of them just from things that I had around. And then the next year I happened to be in New York, and so participated in the march there. And beforehand I thought, like, I'm a spinner. Like the hat that I had for myself was not even 100% wool. It was like acrylic, I'm pretty sure. I'm forgetting the one that I had for myself, but I was just like, I need something hand spun, hand dyed. And I had this lovely stuff, and so I thought, yep, let's make myself another hat. So this hat I made for the second Women's March. This is just kind of a pattern that I just made up for it, that I thought ended up being really quite cute. I made a few like this. So it's crocheted, and then I have a V-stitch for like a little ribbing thing there. And it was great. I really like that I had this, but I never wear it. It's kind of a little bit small on my head. Yikes, tangled. Let's do a last wearing of it. Yeah, so here it is. It is cute. Yeah, and I've just felt for a while like I can repurpose this yarn. I'm delaying it. I figure I might as well use up the other stuff that I have before I unravel this, but I think I will unravel this to continue making Valentines with. So I've got this yarn, and then I've also shared on here these yarns that I have. I've always thought it could be nice to do some Valentine's-y stuff with them. And also I think I've been mentioning, I do get pink dyes sometimes, and it's fun and exciting, but then I find I don't want to make anything with pink particularly, and so it just feels like, yeah, let's make some Valentine ornaments. That's something I do want to make with pink yarn. So I have these four. I think the pink and the orange are good colors. I am thinking these two are a little bit just dull. I think I might have like just weird minerals in my water that make a lot of my dye baths dull. That's what I'm coming to realize. So I think I might try to over dye them, at least one of them. I think I probably will use some of that Seneca red stalker husks to try to get a little bit more vibrant Valentine-y colors. But I'd like to create some Fair Isle patterning thing and do some little ornaments out of these. So that's an idea that I have. I also knew that I wanted to do some crocheting. Anyway, so these are kind of my materials. I also have a little bit of this purple. This is some cat hair that I spun. This is Vondel's Cat Jack. And then I dyed it with grape sludge after my dad did grape juice one year from his grapes. Then there was just, a bunch of sludge, and I threw some of this in and got some purpley, and I thought that looked nice with these too. So I might use some of that. Okay, so I kind of thought at first, I was like, I just want to do some like freestyle crochet. But then I also did a bunch of searching on Ravelry and came across a pattern. So actually the very first one I made was this little heart ornament. But then the second one, I definitely wanted to try out kind of more what was in my head. And so this is what I created there. And I think I'll definitely make more of this style than the other. It's perfect. This is actually basically just a miniature version of the heart pillow that we have. Should I grab that? I think I've shown it on here enough. I know the heart pillow. So this, I definitely know. I think I'll make more, but I'm just like, I have to make this for Doubt. This will definitely be one for him because he loves that heart pillow. That's just like when we cuddle and watch a movie, that's his little pillow. It's really cute. So yeah, this is just a miniature of that. Really cute. Voila. So yeah, I want to keep making those. I don't know how many I'll make. I think I'd like to make at least 10. I'll definitely have to do something else Valentine's-y because I want to give out more than just 10, but I think some of them can be a little bit more simple as well and just some paper cards. But yeah, that's something I've been wanting to do for a while, and this feels like the year. So I'm moving forward on that. So those are the main projects I'm working on right now, are the Valentines and the little booties, just because there are some deadlines. Then I do also want to participate in that mittens cowl and some other things. So that's what I've got going on. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my makings and my ideas and my reflection. Yeah, how are things going for you? Where are you at? I guess, yeah, in your making and just in your ideas about, I don't know, are you thinking about this past year and this coming year? Is that where you're at, or are you at a different stage and cycle? Megan, I want to know more about your farm. I mean, you're in major transition mode right now, and I'm so excited to hear more about it. I really wish that we could have a nice conversation sometime. But I know that cell service doesn't always happen for you. So anyway, but I would really like to hear from you and anyone else as well. Just, yeah, what's going on. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy Solstice. I hope you're warm and well, and yeah, feeling that warmth, not just the physical warmth, but that interpersonal warmth too. I know that I've really been feeling that I haven't been able to be, just eating meals with people and things like that. I've been really feeling that more keenly than ever before, that I'm really ready to move forward and not have to be so cautious in gathering anymore. So yeah, really good to sit down and share with you again. Again, I hope you enjoyed, and I'd really love to hear from you as well. Take care. Bye.